Deneric Prince, the transfer from Texas A&M, on the return for Tulsa. Down on the field, here's Chris Budden.
Well, some injury news for Tulsa. They will be without their top running back, Shamari Brooks, who tore his ACL in practice this week. A huge loss in this game last year. He had 29 carries for 2 touchdowns. Also of note, Corey Taylor, who shares the load at running back, came out of quarantine earlier this week. So this will be running back by committee for Tulsa today, Sean.
Yeah, that's a huge blow. Shamari Brooks hoping to become the all-time leading rusher in Tulsa history this season. On first down, the handoff to Elon Stokes, talented wide receiver, who took it on an end around, and he got about 3. Zach Smith is the quarterback, returning starter for Tulsa. Over the middle and complete, and very near a first down to Sam Crawford. Here's Todd McShay.
Hey, Sean, keep an eye on Zach today. Watch the way he flicks his wrist, like the way the ball explodes off his hand. That's what the NFL scouts are looking for. That's what he does so well. He's got to improve in terms of in the pocket, his accuracy and consistency. But the reason that NFL teams are talking about him as a day 3 pick is because he has such a big arm and such good arm talent.
Handed it off to Deneric Prince, and a nice run, playing in his first game for Tulsa. Came over from Texas A&M, where he had just 2 career carries. There is Zach Smith, 5th-year senior from Grandview, Texas. 2nd-year starter, had a nice first year. As a matter of fact, he was 18th in the country in passing yards per game last season. But if they had played last Saturday, he would not have been able to play. He was in quarantine. The running play stuffed. It's Deneric Prince again, dropped by Trace Ford with help from Tyler Lacey.
Yeah, Trace Ford is so quick off the ball. They're going to move him around a lot this season. Had a great freshman year, as you see. Cameron Murray, one of their starting defensive tackles, a little slow getting up, but Trace Ford, a very explosive first step off the line of scrimmage, and that time he just was in the backfield before they could get a hand on him. You know, with Zach Smith, Todd was talking about how the ball comes out of his hand. I think the biggest thing he's working on this year is his pocket presence and movement, and not holding onto the ball too quickly, just getting the ball out of his hands faster than he did a year ago. This is a team that gave up 39 sacks a year ago, and that's not just the offensive line. A lot of times that sack is a result of a quarterback holding the ball too long.
2nd down and 16. Cameron Murray ran off the field, defensive lineman for Oklahoma State, under his own power. Smith on target to the 41-yard line, caught by Josh Johnson, and a tackle made by Tanner McAllister. They're expecting a breakout year on defense from McAllister. They have 10 starters back. It's a group that got much better as the season went along. Last year, they held their last 6 opponents to under their scoring averages.
Well, keep an eye on this guy right here, too. Calvin Bundage missed all of last year. A linebacker, a pass rush specialist. They are thrilled to have him back in the lineup.
Back from back surgery. Smith given a nice pocket, checks it down, well short of the first down is Juan Carlos Santana. Eamon Ogbongbemiga made the tackle. He's a 5th-year senior, one of the best linebackers in the country. And it'll be a punt situation for Tulsa with a new punter. Dylan Stoner back for the kick from Lachlan Wilson, redshirt freshman from Australia. Playing his first American football game. Played Australian rules football in his native land. Stoner fielded it inside the 10 and brought it back. He'll mark him out at the 14-yard line. So our first look at the Oklahoma State offense this season, and Todd, one of the best running backs in the country, Chuba Hubbard, is back.
Watch 30 all day long. I mean, he's the best player on the field for both teams, and the reason is the contact balance and the acceleration. He's able to get through that first initial arm tackle, the attempt at least, and then the way he accelerates from 0 to 60 is better than anyone in the country that I've watched in this preseason. He's improved in terms of pass protection and catching the ball. I'm really looking forward to watching that today.
Had a huge game, particularly early in their win at Tulsa last year. They won 40-21. He gets the carry and gets 2. He had 3 touchdown runs in that game of 75, 30, and 33. And the 75 was at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, well, that's the one we just saw. That was the very first offensive play of the game. And if Tulsa's to have any chance, they can't allow those big explosive plays out of Hubbard or Wallace.
Spencer Sanders, returning starting quarterback. Redshirt sophomore from Denton, Texas. He was on target to Dylan Stoner. And they're short of the first down.
Little different style quarterback than Mike Gundy's had in the past.
More of a runner than a true thrower. Combination of both. Nice cut by Hubbard. One of his strengths, the ability to make people miss in the open field. And he got to the 30 for a first down.
I'm telling you, he's one of those guys, Sean, that you almost hold your breath every time he touches the ball, especially if he gets his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. Because as Todd documented, that acceleration, how quickly he can get the top end speed, is unlike anybody else in college football.
He reminds me a little bit of Jamal Charles and LaShawn McCoy. Like the ability to make that one cut and go.
They go out of the pistol here, and it's Hubbard again. Taken down after a short gain to the 33-yard line. And they're happy to have back Tylan Wallace, who missed the final 5 games of last season with a torn ACL, had surgery. They're happy he's playing without a knee brace. They took it off at the beginning of the month. Sanders throws on the run. It's caught for a first down by Logan Carter. They call their tight ends cowboy backs, and he's out to the 48-yard line with a 15-yard gain and a first down.
Nice job of faking the wide receiver screen to Wallace.
Sanders in trouble, and he's spun down for a sack. Back at the 42-yard line by Zaven Collins. Terrific outside linebacker from Hominy, Oklahoma.
Well, here's Collins. They're going to move him around a lot this year, too. I mean, they want to utilize his speed and athleticism. Bad job of Chuba Hubbard in pass protection. He dove right at the feet, and Collins easily stepped aside of that block and got to the quarterback. And that's one of the areas that Chuba Hubbard has to continue to improve on going to the next level is pass protection.
Collins, 6'4", 260 at linebacker, and he can really run. Hubbard out of bounds, and there is a flag down. Fans here at Boone Pickens thought there was a late hit, and apparently there was, as Hubbard went out around midfield.
And Sean, those are the penalties that Tulsa cannot afford to have. I mean, they're an underdog anyway. Last year, they were an underdog in the game at home, and they actually played well. They had a 21-20 lead at halftime, but they finished the game.
Out of bounds. The result of the play is a third down.
It was Kendarin Ray who made that last hit, and they waved off the flag, which is fortunate because now it's 3rd and 10 for Oklahoma State. But last year, Tulsa had 17 penalties for 156 yards in this game and really hurt them.
They run a man off late. They were the most penalized team in the country last year. When you have 17 in one game, that doesn't help. And they're going to blow this play dead. They don't hear the whistles. And the public address announcer doesn't hear him either.
First down and 10.
Well, there was offsides, and I think they called it dead with the encroachment.
Yes, they did. The official on the near sideline was running in to stop the play, waving his arms over his head. There's Philip Montgomery, the head coach at Tulsa. Admittedly under pressure this year, 9-27 the last 3 seasons, after they had a 10-win season in his second year there. 4-8 last year. It's an ACC officiating crew. Adam Savoy, the referee, with a long conversation with his teammates.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside. Defense, number 90. That penalty is declined. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, Oklahoma State, number 3. 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the play. 1st and 10. And that's number 3's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
But I want to bring in Matt Austin if we can. The play was being blown dead by the official on the near sideline along the line of scrimmage who called the offside. Not only did he throw the flag, but he was waving in with his arms up over his head. That's a look at the end of the play. But I don't. We're gonna have to bring in Matt Austin back in Charlotte. Matt, can you give us a little help there? I mean, why is the other penalty in effect when the play was being blown dead?
Honestly, I don't understand why they both would be dead ball fouls.
And now in the open field, it's L.D. Brown will be Chuba Hubbard's main backup this season. And he runs for 16 and a first down.
Well, nice run. Really got a great block between Jelani Woods, that big converted quarterback tight end, with the key block on that play.
There's Brown again. Tough run. He got 4. Let's go back to the play that we're talking about.
Right there, it's blown dead.
Right.
Sanders is going the other way. Remember, they're not using the normal whistles. They're using the electric whistles. Perhaps some of the players didn't see it. And I think the penalty at the end was because Sanders flipped the ball to a player on the bench for Tulsa.
Now Sanders. Dangerous runner, averaged 57 yards rushing per game last season. And he's to the 25-yard line, and it is a first down. The Cowboys on the move on their opening possession.
And that's why he's different. They want to utilize his ability to run, particularly in the red zone.
Chuba Hubbard back in the game.
With a defense so focused on Chuba Hubbard and so concerned with stopping him, it really opens things up for the quarterback to run, either whether it's by design or when the play breaks down.
Play fake by Sanders. His receiver stumbled coming out of the cut. It's Tylan Wallace. Was averaging 113 yards receiving per game last year when he got hurt, among the leaders in the country.
Sanders a little gimpy at the end of that play. Remember, he missed the last 3 games last year with a thumb injury. Moving around a little gingerly at the end of that play, the incomplete pass.
Illegal substitution, the call against Tulsa. So they move the ball to the 18. 3 yards to go for another first down. Hubbard. Good tackle by Darren Ray, redshirt sophomore. Philip Montgomery says he has a chance to be the best safety they've ever had at Tulsa when he's finished, out of Brenham, Texas. Eight minutes gone by, first quarter. Spencer Sanders slides down, takes the loss. Tucked under a hit from Robert Revels, and it looks like Sanders might still be less than 100% after this play a couple of plays ago.
Good coverage down the field. He wanted to throw the ball quick. It wasn't there. Got forced out of the pocket and then kind of went down to protect himself, but didn't get down very quick and still took a shot to the back.
15th play of the drive. Methodical, workmanlike effort here by the Cowboys offense. L.D. Brown inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Another tackle for the safety, Darren Ray.
That's the bread and butter play of this Oklahoma State offense. Inside zone, a good push by that offensive line. You got to get guys to the second level of the defensive linebackers, and they did on that play.
And the new offensive coordinator, Casey Dunn, says it's always been his dream to call plays, and he's calling them very nicely on his first drive ever as a play caller. L.D. Brown stuffed that time by Grant Sawyer.
And they were going so fast. Their left tackle, who I think is going to be a second-round draft pick, Tevin Jenkins, had to check out because he was exhausted. They ran, what, 15, 16 plays, and they were going so quickly. Everyone was so tired. And we talked to them. The coordinator, the head coach, Mike Gundy, said they wanted to run turbo, play faster than they did.
Just 5 days later, they had to pause for 9 days. They had at least 8 positive tests, others affected by contact tracing. They resumed on August 21st. 3 practices before classes began on August 24th. then 7 practices in a 17-day span. And up until yesterday, just 24 practices in 41 possible days of practice. So they thought they had a good week this week. Practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Zach Smith's pass incomplete. Trying to throw it out to Sam Crawford. Well, Philip Montgomery's had a lot to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, it's unprecedented for everybody because of the COVID-19 virus. I mean, everybody's way of doing business has been completely changed this summer and into preseason camp. But boy, it's been really tough. And you add on the injury to Shamari Brooks and their starting middle linebacker, Johanse Burnett, this week. A lot of adversity for Philip Montgomery and this Tulsa football team.
Well, they thought Burnett was going to be a spectacular linebacker, to use Montgomery's words. Zach Smith given time, running out of time, got rid of it.
Don't know if he was outside the tackle box. There was a receiver in the area, and that's what we were talking about earlier, that he needs to get the ball out of his hands quickly. That was good coverage. Here's Rodriguez here. Watch him as he gets pressure on Zach Smith. Right up the middle, beats the running back's block, and right now Zach Smith's got to make a decision. The ball's got to get out. He does get it out, and fortunate to get away, get the ball out before sack.
T.K. Wilkerson in at running back. Redshirt sophomore. Saw some playing time last year, rushed for 315. Smith under duress, finds some time, finds a receiver who has running to do for the first down, and Juan Carlos Santana dragged down, apparently just shy of the first down along the near sideline. Nice tackle by Tanner McAllister to prevent the first down.
You know, you really are concerned in a first ball game about your tackling. You don't normally do a lot of tackling live in camp, and tackling in space. That was an outstanding play by Tanner McAllister, because it looked like if he doesn't make that tackle, that's an easy first down and maybe more yardage. They had the defense really spread out, but tackling in space, such a premium early in the season, and particularly in the conference that Oklahoma State plays in.
Lachlan Wilson on to punt for the second time. Oklahoma State has blocked 25 kicks since 2013. Only Temple has blocked more during that time.
Last year against Iowa State, he busts through tackles. He doesn't run away from contact. And then how about this grown man stiff arm at the end of the play? Breaks about 5 tackles on the way to the long touchdown. I expect to see them get him the ball in this possession. That first possession, heavy run. They'll get Wallace involved this possession.
And they wound up with 14 runs on 16 plays on the opening possession. Some of them were meant to be passes. Sanders pulled it down and ran. Trouble on the exchange with Hubbard, and the Golden Hurricane has recovered the fumble at the 36-yard line. It's Christian Williams, a returning starter in the secondary, with the first turnover of the game.
It started with a bad snap. It's a high snap that Sanders has to grab with his right hand. Then it's a poor handoff because the timing was messed up by the snap. Never clearly received by Chuba Hubbard, and a big break for Tulsa. They forced 2 turnovers in the game a year ago and committed none on their own. And so this time, not only do they get the ball, they start in excellent field position on the Oklahoma State side of the field.
New starting center, 4 new starters on that offensive line for Oklahoma State. Rye Schneider is the center, just 6 career starts, entering this his 5th season as a 5th-year senior. Zach Smith hands it off on first down. T.K. Wilkerson dragged down for a loss on the play. Here's Matt Berry back in the studio.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Checking in on some ACC football. Jeff Hafley, new coach, Boston College, taking on Duke. David Bailey right up the gut right now. BC up 7-0 early.
All right, Matt, thank you. Here it's 3-0 Oklahoma State. 3.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. And Spencer Sanders limping to the locker room. Their starting quarterback. Zach Smith, the quarterback for Tulsa, started his career at Baylor, has a man open, underthrew the ball, and it was batted down, intended for Sam Crawford. deflected by Rodarius Williams, who looked like he had the best shot at it.
Yeah, there's a little hole between the corner and the safety, but that ball just has to have a little bit more lift on it. And the right guard. 5 offensive linemen blocking 3. Your offense should be able to protect your quarterback. That time, Goodlow just won.
So Tom Hutton on the punt. Keelan Stokes, dangerous punt returner, back deep. More than 3,000 career all-purpose yards. Good punt by the returning starter. There's a flag down on the return, probably for an illegal block. Stokes went out of bounds across the 40. Jason Taylor made the tackle.
Number 2, Keelan Stokes on the return.
Yeah, I think it is an illegal block and really kind of an unnecessary penalty on Tulsa because the punt return was a low
During
punt.
the return,
He was already starting.
illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 21. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Tonight, Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Number 17, Miami and Louisville to take on the 18th ranked Cardinals. That's at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, over on ABC. Also available on the ESPN app. Nice start to the year for both teams. Miami defeated UAB in its opener, and Louisville handled Western Kentucky, led by a career-high 343 pass yards from Louisville's fine quarterback Malik Cunningham.
When's the last time Miami had a quarterback like Tierra King? Whew.
He's dynamic.
Transfer from Houston. Instant difference maker for Miami. Wilkerson a short gain. Here's Matt Berry.
Guys, more ACC football in our Rocket Mortgage studio update. Checking in on Syracuse and Pitt. Kenny Pickett, a dime, 27 yards to Jordan Addison. Right now, Pittsburgh up 7-3 over Syracuse over on ACC Network.
With championship aspirations, it has to do with their exciting, dynamic offense, but also a much improved defense.
We've seen in a lot of these first games, the defenses seem to have the advantage. Lachlan Wilson, they came after him that time. Dylan Stoner, fair catch just beyond the 35-yard line. If you've been watching the all-access documentary, Our Time Oklahoma State Football, you learned a lot about Dylan Stoner recently. Unprecedented footage, sound from players and coaches. It's streaming exclusively on Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. To get ESPN Plus, download the app, go to ESPNplus.com. It was really helpful for our preparation for this game. There have been 5 or 6 episodes so far. Very well done.
I think Oklahoma State has to try to stretch this defense. Even with the backup quarterback, they have to attack downfield. That's their MO. That's how they like to play football. We've yet to see a ball travel down the field here in the ballgame.
Still with the backup quarterback, Ethan Bullock. Spencer Sanders limped to the locker room a moment ago. That pass is high, near sideline for Braden Johnson. Coach Dunn tells us is perhaps the fastest man on the team, maybe even faster than Chuba Hubbard. Caleb Evans, the cornerback, had the coverage.
Well, that time Tulsa double covered Stoner and they double covered Wallace.
Out of the pistol, L.D. Brown out to the 44-yard line. They'll need 2 more.
Tulsa's basically the poor man's Legion of Boom, too. I mean, they've got 6'3", 6'4", all across the board in terms of their defensive backs, but they are not going to let Wallace get vertical, and that's exactly what Oklahoma State wants to do. He is so good, even though he's a 4.55 40-time guy. He knows how to get down the field and track it vertically, but they're not going to let it happen because of the double teams that they're giving with these long defensive backs.
Wallace doesn't have a catch yet. Play fake on 3rd down and 2. Bullock not very mobile, and it's the blitzing Zaven Collins, the star of that defense, who dropped him for a sack, and it'll force 4th down.
Watch this. He just times it perfectly. He waits 1 beat and then goes right between the guard and the tackle, and they were late in reacting. That's good speed, but more than anything, just the timing of the blitz, waiting that half a beat before he got to the backfield.
He was a free safety and quarterback in high school, weighed 225 pounds. They said when they recruited him, they didn't know where he'd play, but now he's 6'4", 260, and he can really move. Good punt, and a fair catch made by Keelan Stokes off the boot from Tom Hutton.
He told us, too, when we talked to him, he said, what do you want to do better this year? He says, I got to get in the backfield more. That's twice today so far he's been in the backfield.
He's an excellent student as well. Graduated #1 in his class at Hominy High School out of 47. Wants to be a doctor. As a reminder, you can watch today's game in 4K on DirecTV, Optimum, and Xfinity. It's part of the Samsung QLED 4K Game of the Week. Zaven Collins just came out of quarantine on Sunday. So he was away from organized football activity for 2 weeks, went home to Hominy, brought Zach Smith, one of his roommates, with them for a while. They hunted and fished out in the country to stay away from COVID. They were not COVID positive. TK Wilkerson is the ball carrier. They were sidelined due to contact tracing. Here's Matt Berry.
All right, guys, as expected, Cincinnati having their way with Austin Peay early on in this one on ESPN+. Jared Dokes gets in from 1 yard out. 14-3 Bearcats moving the ball again, looking to score to make it 21-3.
All right, Matt, thank you. Here's surprisingly low-scoring game. Zach Smith got it off in a crowd, and his throw was too high. Intended for Sam Crawford. Good pressure by Devin Harper.
We do have a flag down. Right now, the coverage is suffocating for Oklahoma State. There's no separation that these receivers are able to get down the field.
Personal foul, fake pass, defense, number 24, 15-yard penalty for the previous foul, automatic first down.
Jarek Bernard Converse, one of the starting corners, and that's the only way that Oklahoma State has really been able to advance the ball, was that kind of a penalty. They just have not had a lot of room to throw the football.
This is a great opportunity for Zach Smith, right? I mean, going up against a defense that has 10 returning starters with a Tulsa team that really, they can't match up physically. But he has so much arm talent. He's jumped roped all off season. He's trying to get better inside the pocket. This is the opportunity right now.
Well, and he's got to find a way to get the ball to Keelan Stokes. That's his go-to guy down here in the slot.
And both leading receivers not a factor in this first half. TK Wilkerson chopped down by Trey Sterling. Keelan Stokes had 62 catches last year. There's a flag down here after the play behind the line of scrimmage. This rivalry dates back to 1914. Oklahoma State has dominated.
Holding, offense, number 47, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
See, this is a silly block, because Trace Ford, this is the backside of the play. Trace Ford's not going to make the play on that, and that's an easy call. I mean, that was not only a grab, but a spin and then a takedown.
By Ethan Hall, who comes off the field. Big setback and moves them back to the 27-yard line. 1st and 20.
You just got to try to get part of the yardage back here if you're Zach Smith. It's still first down. You don't have to get all 20. You want to get maybe 8 to 10 here and bring up second and more manageable. Still try to move the chains.
Deneric Prince, new arrival at Tulsa from Texas A&M, is the running back. Low throw. Sam Crawford managed to catch it, but no opportunity for run after the catch because of the inaccurate throw.
Again, Keelan Stokes, the go-to guy, was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago, had 7 catches for over 100 yards and a touchdown against Oklahoma State in the ballgame last year. Has yet to get on track.
You wonder, because of the lack of a running threat, if he's seeing even more attention from this defense than he would have. Smith hasn't been particularly accurate. There's Prince turning the corner, and it's a first down to midfield. Well, they were back at first down and 20, and they managed to move those chains. Another tackle by Tanner McAllister.
Yeah, they really got the edge sealed. Jaden Muskrat, the left tackle, and James Palmer, the tight end, with a great job blocking on the edge on that play. Play action pass. Smith has a man open, and the throw's too high. That was a touchdown
if he hit him in stride. There is a flag down in the secondary. It was intended for Juan Carlos Santana.
Well, that's probably why he couldn't hit him in stride. I think they grabbed Santana on his way to the football. Good job on first down, trying to take a deep shot after the running play that got the first down.
Defense, number 0. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's Christian Holmes, who is a transfer from Missouri. Just grabbed him right at the point, and there was separation, but the ball was thrown too deep. Trey Sterling at the end of the play coming on a safety blitz, gets a nice shot on the quarterback. But for the second time in the ball game now, Tulsa in Oklahoma State territory with a first down.
Sharp contrast to the start of last year's game when Oklahoma State raced off to a 14-0 lead. And Tulsa came back. They led at the half 21-20, then didn't score in the second half. Trey Sterling makes the tackle there on Deneric Prince. It was a 40-21 win for Oklahoma State, their 7th in a row in this rivalry. Prince again dropped for a loss by Israel Antwine, part of a deep defensive line.
Yeah, Tulsa tried to go with a quick count that time. They tried to get up, get lined up, and run away from the strength of their formation, but Oklahoma State was not fooled. They were in position, ready to make the play for no gain on second down.
Philip Montgomery, the head coach, is the play caller. Offensive coordinator at Baylor prior to coming to Tulsa. He called the plays for Art Briles. Moving along the line again. Nobody hears the whistle with the officials running in and blowing it dead.
Some offsides against
those guys look
Oklahoma
dangerous.
State. This won't give them a first down, but it will give them a third and very short.
They need to solve this whistle issue in college football.
I can't even hear it on the field, Sean.
Defense, number 20, came into the neutral zone, causing an immediate reaction by an offensive lineman. 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
You know, when they've tried, originally they told the officials to wear the electronic whistle on their belts. Then they told it to hold them in their hands, hold the buzzer down longer, but all of these solutions are not solutions. So a big penalty. Oklahoma State really helping this Tulsa drive. 30 penalty yards against the defense. TK Wilkerson lowers his head. They just can't get anything going of substance in the run game. Colby Harville-Peel, outstanding safety up there at the line to stuff that play.
I thought they might try to throw on that third down with the idea of going for it on fourth down, but they tried to slip the run play, and I think they lost yardage on that play. Great penetration by the Oklahoma State defense. Now you almost have to throw it on this play because it's 4th and about 2.
And again, no Shamari Brooks, one of the leading rushers in school history. Certainly would have been a factor, you'd think, on that 3rd and 1. So far, no Corey Taylor. He would have been their second rusher.
Zero coverage look coming after him.
They go to the ground, and Wilkerson powers ahead for the first down. Redshirt sophomore, just outside of Tulsa. Malcolm Rodriguez made the tackle.
Watch the movement here is just going to hold defenders enough to get the run in there. The movement freezes a couple defenders just enough, and then he runs through the tackle of Malcolm Rodriguez.
Young, inexperienced offensive line. Wilkerson again, tackled by Rodriguez again. The veteran of the offensive line is Chris Paul, the right tackle, making his 21st career start. Nobody else other than the center Wheeler, who started 12 times, has double-digit starts. In the flat, Wilkerson, great tackle by Rodriguez, the former wrestler, and Jim Knowles said that's why he's such a great tackler. He knows how to get people on the ground from his wrestling background. 3rd down and 1. They line up to go quickly. Smith keeps, and like the last 3rd and 1, it's a 1-yard loss. Antwine with penetration, and Rodriguez, as he is on almost every play, in on the play.
Well, yeah, it was Rodriguez again. That time they ran a little stunt, so they had the back taken, and he's the heavy runner. He's 215 pounds, just came off the quarantine. but he was kind of the other type of runner with Shamari Brooks over the last few years. Gets those shoulders north and south. Does the ball get to the line?
He didn't get there.
Nope, I think his knee was down before the ball reached the line.
And I think even if they deem this a first down, they will take a look at that spot. So Taylor, their second leading returning rusher, nearly 1,500 career yards, did well to get even close as he was hit behind the line of scrimmage, and they come up inches short. The nights ago, it was delicious, and we're happy to be cheering for Oklahoma State football, watching the game there today. Ethan Bullock, backup quarterback, who came in for the injured Spencer Sanders. And Todd, I don't think that play was put in the playbook for him.
Well, it was a zone read, thinking the defense would go with Chuba Hubbard, but you can't take that to the sideline. You just got to get up the field and get whatever yardage you can get. The longer he strung it out, the worse it got for him.
Loss on the play. Allie Green, outstanding cornerback, made the tackle. Joseph Gillespie says that he thinks not only are these the best cornerbacks in the American Conference, they might be the best pair in the country. That's saying a lot, but they're very good. Bullock throws, and a nice tackle.
Right on
Landon
cue.
Wolf got drilled by Caleb Evans, one of those cornerbacks, right on cue.
And as Todd mentioned earlier, they are big. I mean, the corners are big and long. The safeties, they play with 3 safeties and 2 corners. And Tylan Wallace on the sideline the last couple possessions.
And movement at the bottom of your screen.
Dumb penalty by Evans.
Defense, number 26, came into the neutral zone, causing an immediate reaction by an offensive player. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, to your point, these defensive backs are trying to be physical and really intimidate all the receivers for Oklahoma State. The issue for Oklahoma State, though, is 2 of their best 3 players are not on the field right now. Tylan Wallace, we talked about him at wide receiver. He's on the sideline. He looked like he's checked out for a while. I'm not sure why. And obviously the quarterback, we talked about Spencer Sanders. So right now, Oklahoma State is trying to get it done with a different crew.
On 3rd down and 7, play fake by Bullock and an errant pass. Nowhere near Brennan Presley. And Todd, it goes back to our conversation yesterday with Mike Gundy. Chuba Hubbard said, I came back to win a Big 12 championship and a national championship. We asked Mike Gundy, is your team that good? He said, well, I think it could be, but the key players have to stay healthy.
Right.
And it's all the guys Todd McShay just mentioned: Sanders, Hubbard, Wallace.
Well, when they missed Wallace for the last 5 games, they missed Sanders the last 3 games, and their offensive production went way down. Even though Chuba Hubbard still gained more yards than anybody in college football, their overall offensive production took a real dive the last, and 3 runs over 10 plus. That's it.
Zach Smith keeps it and slides forward to the 40-yard line, a gain of 3. Here's Chris Budden.
Sean, the official word from Oklahoma State is that Spencer Sanders is doubtful to return to this game with a lower extremity.
And you wonder if there's something wrong with Tylan Wallace as well, coming back from knee surgery. Deneric Prince, the running back, the newcomer from Texas A&M. And a lot of these guys just got to Tulsa, and they've been thrust into action here because of the injury to Shamari Brooks, the quarantine for Corey Taylor that just ended. Prince again for 2 more.
Guys, I have been watching Tylan Wallace this entire time. He has not received any medical attention. He hasn't been working on any parts of his body. He has his helmet in his hand. I have seen some people go give him fist bumps, but he doesn't look as if he's in any pain.
I'm sure they're trying to monitor his at-bats right now because he's just back. But he is certainly a key part of what they want to do offensively. This is an offense in Oklahoma State that has under 100 yards total here in the first half so far.
Play clock running out. Oklahoma State had a field goal drive first possession, went 76 yards. They have 5 yards of offense since. Low throw, good catch by Keelan Stokes. Really a smart throw by Smith, because Trey Sterling was closing quickly. And if that had hit the receiver in stride, it might have been a pick six instead.
Yeah, I'm not sure either one of us or anybody of the 15,000 people here expected a defensive slugfest, but both defenses have dominated the game. Oklahoma State has just been suffocating. 0 for 7 on third down. Tulsa is with a veteran quarterback and some talented receivers, and therefore the 3-0 score with 4:10 left in the first half.
There's Lachlan Wilson again. End over end punt. Some room for Dylan Stoner on the catch, and some room along the near sideline. Out of bounds near midfield.
Perfect chance to go deep to Wallace right here.
They hand it off to Chuba Hubbard, dragged down from behind as he tried to turn the corner. Nice play by Justin Wright, who'll play a lot of middle linebacker with the ACL tear by Johansi Burnett earlier this week.
I know you have your backup quarterback in, but this is not Oklahoma State's offensive personality, not attacking down the field, particularly with a premier player like Tylan Wallace.
New play caller in Casey Dunn, 10 years the wide receiver coach. Bullock takes off running and makes it to the Tulsa 42, perhaps the 41. It'll be third down and short. Another tackle from Justin Wright.
The Tulsa DBs knew it during the timeout. They were talking during the Oklahoma State.
Quick pass near side to D. Anderson, and he's chopped down, or Braden Johnson rather, chopped down by Christian Williams.
They were talking to the wide receivers during the entire break. Yeah, who knows what they're saying, but they have so much confidence. These 6'3", 6'4" defensive backs, they're pressing, they're physical, and they are making it a nightmare for Oklahoma State wide receivers who thought all along that they were going to be able to come out here and just be faster and more athletic.
Well, this is single coverage with no safety help.
They go for it on 4th and 2, and Chuba Hubbard is dumped for a 3-yard loss.
See, right now, Tulsa's defense has so much confidence, they don't respect the passing game of Oklahoma State. There's no threat right now of Tylan Wallace. Watch the end of the line, comes right downhill to make the play. Good course to the football, and gets Hubbard in the backfield. I think that's a missed block by Dayton Metcalf, the tight end, number 84.
And a great play by Grant Sawyer, who had been almost exclusively a special teams player prior to this season. Junior from Argyle, Texas, had just 7 tackles all last year, but in there in a key spot. And what an outstanding defensive performance by the Golden Hurricane.
They have totally, what they've done, they've squeezed the offense. They are not threatened vertically by this offense at all, so they're squeezing down more and more each possession.
So Corey Taylor is in there at running back now. Secondly returning leading rusher, and they won't have Brooks this year. Deep throw by Smith. On target to Keelan Stokes. And finally a big gainer as Tanner McAllister had the coverage and made the tackle. It'll go all the way to the 15-yard line.
Nice little wheel route. That's what McAllister got fooled on the outcut. And then Keelan was able to get outside.
40-yard gain. Back to the ground with Taylor, and he's dropped for a loss. Damon Ogbongbemiga.
Watch McAllister bite on the out fake, and there's the separation. They've had no separation the entire first half until that play. Zach Smith found it. It was a perfect call by Philip Montgomery, and they get the big chunk play out of the passing game.
Keelan Stokes, senior from Manville, Texas. His brother Kevin Lucas, one of the all-time great receivers at Tulsa. Play fake to Taylor. He stayed in the block. To the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Josh Johnson gives Tulsa the lead.
This is an NFL throw right here. I mean, this is good coverage. I think it was Trey Sterling in coverage. And watch where Zach Smith puts this football for his receiver, Josh Johnson. I mean, he throws a perfect throw that only his guy could make a play on.
A minute 38 to go in the half. It's Tulsa, 22-point underdog, with a 6-3 lead, with the extra point to come off the foot of the true freshman Tyler Tipton, kicking in his first collegiate game out of Little Elm, Texas, small town in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And his kick is good.
This is a little corner route with an underneath route below it, and this is good coverage. I mean, he is not wide open, but the throw is perfect over. It was not Sterling, it was Kobe Harvell-Peel, the safety, that was in coverage, and the throw over his outstretched arm, 1 foot's all you need down. A perfect throw as Tulsa capitalizes with their 2 best passing plays of the entire first half to take a 7-3 lead.
Zach Smith. Beautiful throw, his first touchdown pass of the season. You mentioned he started at Baylor, was recruited by Philip Montgomery, now his head coach. When Philip was an assistant coach, Dart Briles at Baylor, Zach said they were the first to recruit me when I was a sophomore. Zach went to Baylor, play for Art Briles. Philip Montgomery left Baylor to become the head coach at Tulsa. They had a relationship when there was a coaching change at Baylor. Smith was looking for somewhere else to go, and Philip Montgomery's glad he came to Tulsa.
And he's glad that he's back for the 2nd year. He really thinks the guy is going to be an NFL guy, thinks he's going to have a great season. And those 2 throws back to back on this drive were impressive. You wait, you bide your time. Oklahoma State's playing great defense, and when you get some separation and a chance to make a play, you strike.
Zach Long kicks off, doesn't have a big leg, only 9 touchbacks last season, but that's well placed. Braden Johnson in trouble near the 10, and he's down at the 13. Here's Matt Berry back in the studio.
Guys, good afternoon. Coming up in the Lexus halftime report, the Big Ten released their schedule. We'll talk about some of the best games in week 1, plus some close games in the ACC. The first half, we'll have highlights. In Louisiana, ranked for the first time since 1943. They are getting beat. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway join me coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
Don't want to give away one of their stories, but I think Ohio State's going to open with Nebraska. That'll be a marquee matchup right out of the gate. Let's see how they play it with 1.5 minutes to go, and the offense sputtering. The backup quarterback in there, and it's Chuba Hubbard trying to break one and could not.
You know, Philip Montgomery, when we talked to him yesterday, he said, I think we have a chance to be really good on defense this year. He loved his quarterback. Of course, they hated losing Shamari Brooks, but he liked his defense. And boy, have they played well this first half.
Not a lot of starters back, but some experienced players. Chuba Hubbard, the ball carrier. They lost 2 players to the NFL draft, which has been a rarity in recent years, especially from the defensive side of the ball. Reggie Robinson, drafted in the 4th round by the Dallas Cowboys. Trevis Gibson made the Chicago Bears a defensive end.
It had been 8 years since they had a single player drafted.
Wow. Oklahoma State has to they have to find a way to get Wallace the ball. I mean, because right now Hubbard does not have a lot of breathing room. They are really zoned in on him. They don't have to worry about the quarterback run threat. They've got to find a way to get 2 involved and stretch this defense a little bit vertically.
Oklahoma State just wants to get into the locker room and regroup. Playing without its starting quarterback with a new play caller. Will certainly be asked some questions when this game is over about play selection, the lack of the involvement of Wallace in particular. Kick off your Week 2 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew on ESPN, the ESPN app. Before Tom Brady's first home start as a Buck, the story of how his arrival in Tampa included an accidental home invasion. He walked into someone's house. It wasn't the house he intended to visit. We don't want to give away the entire story, but it's worth a watch for sure. And then this is worth a watch as well. The Raiders christening their new stadium, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, as they host the Saints to cap off Week 2 of the NFL schedule on Monday Night Football on ESPN, ABC, Deportes, and the app. Monday Night Countdown kicks off the coverage, 7:30 Eastern Time. 3rd down and 3. Chuba Hubbard. He got enough for the first down.
The other guy that is quiet, and they need to get involved. Even if you're not having success with Wallace on the outside, Dylan Stoner in the slot, only 1 catch for 6 yards. Had the long punt return, the best play that Oklahoma State had in that first half. But when Wallace was out, he really became the go-to guy. They've got to find a way to get 17-2 more involved in their game plan in the second half against this stingy Tulsa defense.
They ran 33 offensive plays, 27 ripped down Chuba Hubbard. 8-yard loss.
Zaven Collins just read that perfectly. Take a look at him right here. He's got eyes on Chuba Hubbard. It's a 3-man rush. They're dropping 8. He's very smart. He gets past the block of the wide receiver and right into the backfield, and another negative yardage play created by this Tulsa defense.
Such a good feeling. I mean, he was stalking him the whole time. The second the ball came out, you could see his eyes. He was so excited to go make that tackle.
Tom Hutton, the punter. End over end, fair catch signaled by Keelan Stokes, who muffed one in the first half, fielded that one cleanly. And they'll start at their own 23, the Golden Hurricane offense, led by Zach Smith.
A pretty good first half, 11 of 15. He had to throw underneath. They weren't very good on third down, but when he got a couple opportunities to get the ball downfield, he made back-to-back perfect throws. This one for the touchdown that gave him the 7-3 lead. He's been patient. He's not taking sacks. The only thing they've got to do better, and he's got to do better, they have to be better on third down. 0 for 7 in the first half on third down. In the long run, that's not going to get it on the road against a good team.
The only touchdown in the first half, Smith to Josh Johnson, the Iowa State transfer, for 16 yards after the big gainer to Keelan Stokes. Deneric Prince in his first game for Tulsa, ripped down by Malcolm Rodriguez, a gain of 3.
You know, everything we read that Philip Montgomery said when he talked about the running backs, he said it's the most depth we've ever had in the running back room. Little did he know it was going to have to come into play so dramatically in game 1.
Without Shamari Brooks, if you tuned in late, Tulsa's leading rusher a year ago, 5th in program history in career rushing yards, senior from Tulsa, tore his ACL in non-contact drill in practice earlier this week. Here's Prince. Big gain down the far sideline. Let's see where they mark him out. There's a late flag thrown near the 40-yard line, well past the first down marker.
I think it's going to be a holding on the wide receiver blocking downfield. They had the edge sealed again. That's the second time they got to the edge on that left side. And a nice run, but I think the receiver blocking downfield is going to get called for a hold.
Play wound up going to the 49 for 23 yards.
Watch right there. Watch the grab
and the tackle.
Takedown. Yep.
Offense, number 1, 10-yard penalty. It's second down.
Josh Stewart, 5th-year senior, didn't see any action last year. May not see much more this year if he keeps doing things like that.
And we talked about the penalties, Sean, and how devastating they were in this game last year and all season for Tulsa, but that's a crushing penalty. You get a first down, now you lose that yardage and it's back to second down. Their 6th penalty of the game so far today.
And you know the coaches spent the entire offseason saying, you know, we can't have all these penalties. We can't be the most penalized team in the country. When you lose a lot of close games as they did last year, that can be the difference maker, but they're not off to a good start. Trying to improve that today, and there was no question about that call.
You know, you're playing well, you're doing a lot of good things, you're playing hard, but you're self-destructing with some of those kind of penalties. And you just add that pressure on you.
Prince carried to the 31-yard line. Not sure why the officials have stopped the game.
I think one of the officials got knocked down on the sideline. I think he either tripped or got bumped and fell. It wasn't near the action of the play, but I think that's why they had to stop. I know how dangerous that headlines position is.
Yes. You were the headline judge when we officiated the Georgia spring football game a year and a half ago. So 3rd down and 2.
There's their first opportunity. 0 for 7 in the first half.
The same play, really, that they've run on short yardage, and they're not fooling anybody. Deneric Prince stopped short. They bring that man in motion, and then they hand it off straight ahead, and it hasn't worked.
And you can't dance. You can't dance on a play like that. That has to hit quickly. Credit Oklahoma State with getting penetration into the backfield and around the feet of Prince. But as soon as you start dancing on that inside give like that, you got no shot. Another big 3rd down stop for Oklahoma State.
Tulsa could be ahead by more than 7-3. They could convert on third down. Dylan Stoner had a 40-yard punt return in the first half. Back deep for this kick from Lachlan Wilson. It's short and down by the Golden Hurricane at the 34-yard line. It was the 5th Tulsa punt already today. False start penalty.
Fourth down.
Will Mike Gundy have them do it again? It seems that he will.
I would. I mean, all the punts have been pretty short. Your best play so far in the ball game has been Stoner's punt return. So you get a chance to let him field one here and make a play and probably get better field position as a result either way.
You made the point a couple of times. Conditioning always a concern, particularly in the early season. Both coaches concerned about it because of the disruption to their preseason routines with all the COVID protocols. Stoner a fair catch. They picked up. He has a hole there. I guess the other question would be, Todd, the play of the offensive line.
Yep.
4 new starters. They have the returning veteran in Tevin Jenkins, who you and Todd McShay both like a lot. They thought Dylan Galloway would be a starter. He decided to retire an offensive tackle due to injuries. But that's a new group up front, largely.
And here's Wallace one-on-one again at the top. Can they get a shot to him?
How much do they trust Bullock? They do take advantage of that one-on-one coverage to Stoner. And there's a flag down, and the Tulsa sideline over there hates that call. Philip Montgomery went sprinting down to holler at the official who threw the flag.
Well, he had his choice. He had Wallace on the slant.
Defense number 7, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And he had Stoner running to the outside. But you see press coverage. They're trying to be very physical with both guys. He made the right choice. That is very petty as far as contact.
Yeah, I don't like that
I don't
flag.
blame Philip Montgomery at all. That is very, very petty to call pass interference on. I don't think it obstructed him. It didn't obstruct him getting to the football.
We can see Matt Austin at home in Charlotte. Did you think that was a good flag, Matt? Can you just give us a thumbs up or thumbs down? On the ball carry, it's Chuba Hubbard. And Matt gave us a 50-50 gesture there.
That's immense.
Hubbard dropped by Kendarren Ray, who led the Golden Hurricane with 7 tackles in the first half, living up to the advanced billing the coaches gave us about him.
See, that's a perfect example. Hubbard moving to the sideline, doesn't get his shoulders square, doesn't get to accelerate.
Just a 3-man rush in that 3-3-5. Hubbard catches it. That's just a 1-yard gain. They want him to be more involved in the passing game, and he's worked very hard on catching and route running.
Yeah, and they're trying to do everything they can to get him to stick his foot in the dirt and accelerate upfield. That's what really where he's best, when he can get upfield because of the acceleration. Tulsa's doing such a great job of getting him east and west rather than north and south.
Yeah.
Playing without Spencer Sanders, their starting quarterback, who left after a turnover on a missed handoff. Apparent leg injury. And Bullock, his stand-in, goes down. Cullen Wick, who they expect to replace the now Chicago Bear Trevis Gibson with the sack.
Well, again, 3-man rush against 5 defenders. There's only 3 guys rushing the quarterback. 3 versus 5, the offensive line should win. And it doesn't. And Cullen Wick is the only guy that drew the single coverage. He was working on the guard, and he's able to win.
Bullock had a little time there.
He did.
He was in the pocket for a bit. He just ran out of time. But 6 sacks now for Tulsa. They had 14 sacks. They both said this is long since past them. They had a number of conversations. The conversations continue within their program. I don't think that's a factor today. I just think they're playing bad football against a team that's much improved over a year ago. Zach Smith, under pressure from Cameron Murray, threw it away.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think when we talked to both Mike Gundy and more importantly when we talked to Chuba Hubbard, you know, he seemed to think we're past it. Things are better. It's started some good conversations. It's been good for our team. And just like everybody we've talked to, teams feel closer through the conversations that they're having right now in their locker rooms.
And both teams said that. Every Sunday, Tulsa's been having what they call reflection meetings when players get up, talk about their life experiences. learn more about each other. Hand off to T.K. Wilkerson. Did a nice job to avoid a loss and turn it into a 7-yard gain. Didn't you get the feeling Chuba Hubbard didn't even want to talk about it with us when we brought it up?
Yeah, and I think he was ready to put it behind, focus on the season, focus on their goals, focus on what their team wants to do. And I think that's one of the reasons the reflection meetings that Tulsa's having, the continuing of conversations is so important, because a lot of people thought once they start playing and they zero in on that, they might stop talking, stop having those conversations. That's not happening. They're keeping it as a part of their regular weekly schedule.
Trying to substitute on defense with 4 seconds left on the play clock. The officials allow that, and now Tulsa didn't get the snap off, and again whistles that people are having a hard time hearing.
Silent whistles.
I think Philip Montgomery might have called a timeout.
Well, he's had to use every timeout he's used in this ball game so far.
Prior to the snap,
in duress situations,
Tulsa,
you know.
They're first. 30 seconds.
Well, I am guessing, Todd, that they will not run on this 3rd and short, bringing the man in motion and handing it off to somebody straight ahead. Although maybe you fake that handoff and throw the football, because they would certainly seem to have Oklahoma State set up for that with the way the Cowboys have stomped on it.
Yeah, well, they definitely have options off of that little action. They could give it to the motion guy. They could fake it and throw it. They could fake it and the quarterback could run it. But just giving it to the back right now, Oklahoma State seems kind of clued in, and they still have yet to convert Tulsa a 3rd down. So I think this is a really important play call. Philip Montgomery was smart to call timeout there.
You mentioned he's under pressure. He was very candid in addressing the question. We asked him about his job security. He said, hey, I feel pressure every year. When you're in this job, you feel pressure. He said, I don't feel any more pressure than usual, although there are many more challenges now brought on by COVID. He told us yesterday, today would be the first time his entire team was in the same locker room together since March. They don't have enough space at home. When he wants to address the entire team, they go out onto their field and get where they would be as if they were doing their pregame stretch, spread out over 50 yards, and he yells.
Yep. Well, and I just think, and we talked about this last night, Sean, I think the discussions or talk about coaches under pressure, coaches on the hot seat, I think is ridiculous this year, considering everything they've had to go through to get their teams ready to play to this point.
Delay a game. Offense.
Oh, my goodness.
3rd down.
After a of a timeout. That can't happen. You've got 3rd and short. You're 0 for on 3rd down. 0 for 8. And now you've made yourself a more difficult situation.
I agree with what you said.
They won't run the play.
Coaches should get some leeway in this situation with everything that's going on in the world. However, that's the kind of thing that gets you fired.
Yeah, that's not good. But if they convert here, all's forgiven.
Yes. Maybe they don't want that 3rd and 2. They haven't done well with it. Zach Smith going to try to run for it. He got taken down from behind, and it looks like he's going to be just shy of the 30. Run down by Trace Ford. Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, raving about him. He said he's our speed guy, and he used that speed to run him down.
Well, this is good protection. You're going to watch as this play rolls. There's going to be nowhere to go with the football. I mean, Zach Smith, he's ready to go, but I mean, they're covered everywhere. I mean, you can see no receivers open. Zach Smith had to run the football. Great coverage downfield by Oklahoma State.
And Lachlan Wilson on the punt.
Here's the other thing. If they wouldn't have gotten that penalty and still had 4th and short, I think there's going to be a fake punt before this game's over, because both offenses are struggling. Special seconds.
And then the athletic director who hired Hafley, Martin Jarman, left and went to UCLA. So far, so good for him for Boston College. We'll be back in 10 seconds. Todd Blackledge, tough for Casey Dunn when you lose your starting quarterback. Ethan Bullock just arrived in the spring, and Coach Dunn told us, you know, it's been hard to coach him. They didn't have spring practice. The summer workouts disjointed. A lot of it is on Zoom. And here's his first game as the play caller, 10 years as the wide receiver coach. it's tough to know how much you can lean on this quarterback and how much you can't.
Well, and he also told us, which nobody really knew about Tylan Wallace, they took the knee brace off September 1st, but then he was bothered by a groin injury. That slowed him down in addition. So he doesn't look like he's completely 100% either, but he's got to find a way to be involved here at the top of the screen right now, working in one-on-one coverage.
3rd down and 8. Neither team good on 3rd down. They're 3 for 10. Bullock given time. Checks it down short. That should be a 1st down for Landon Wolf. If they give him forward progress, and they do, with the yard to spare past the marker before Christian Williams made the tackle.
A couple nice throws in this possession by Bullock. The one down the middle that was incomplete was a good throw. Nice job staying in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, hitting the crossing receiver for the 1st down.
Good time given to him by this offensive line. And finally a hole for the running game, and L.D. Brown almost took it all the way. He got chopped down by Tyon Davis, or that was a touchdown.
Well, it's a stretch play. He's going to start this way, but watch him cut it back inside. When he sees a crease, that's what you want that back to do. Picks up a nice block by Logan Carter, the tight end, number 87 on the backside. And that play can break in a lot of different spots. Good read by L.D. Brown off the block of his backside tight end.
They're high on Brown as Chuba Hubbard's backup. Davis, who made the tackle, saved the touchdown, is the injured player. Junior, who's getting booed, they think it was a fake injury because Oklahoma State finally had a little rhythm on offense. Brown, 5th-year senior. Coach Dunn told us yesterday he will play a lot, 1st man in after Hubbard. Here's Chris Budden.
Well, Ethan Billick's been favoring that throwing shoulder. He was throwing and grimacing on the sidelines before this possession. After each throw, you can see him rolling that right shoulder.
Out of Winter Park, Florida. He's throwing the ball well on this possession. Finds Tylan Wallace for another 1st down, and finally a little rhythm for the Cowboys, a gain of 11.
Well, when you get off coverage, you definitely got to give him a shot. That's easy pitch and catch. Little hitch route versus off coverage. Has not been a lot of off coverage on Wallace today.
Chuba Hubbard back in the game. Bullock, they look confused, and he just throws it away.
Here's what happened. Bullock saw the grabbing by the cornerback, Allie Green. So he just threw it in that direction, thinking he could draw the pass interference. Watch the grab. The problem is Wallace is going to go out of bounds. So once he's out of bounds, none of that grabbing matters anymore. And Bullock threw the football, and that's why there's no flag.
Late in the 3rd quarter now. Again, we'll keep an eye on signs that conditioning might be a factor. Both coaches worried about that. 78 degrees, not particularly warm for this time of the year in Stillwater, and not very humid either. Bullock throws into traffic and intercepted by Allie Green, who stepped in front of Tylan Wallace.
I'll tell you, these corners have been up for the challenge today. They have been wanting to fight and challenge, and that time they come away with the pick.
I said it earlier. It's kind of like the Legion of Boom, right? 6'3" corners like Allie Green. He's been pressing all day long. He's been getting physical on 2 all day long. And one of the best wide receivers in the country has not responded in Tylan Wallace. And you saw it right there. Completely unable to get off the press, and Green just makes a great play for the interception and really turns the whole game around.
First career interception for Allie Green. That's hard to believe. Little juggle on the catch by Crawford on the screen. He managed to snatch it back in and get about 5.
Well, here's the coverage right here. It's one-on-one. Now what you're going to see is against press coverage, you got to throw this ball to the outside. You can't throw it to the inside. The receiver's outside. The ball has to be outside.
Jack Smith play fake off his back foot, and coming back to the ball, there's a flag down. Keelan Stokes trying to make the catch. Didn't see a signal about whether it's a catch or not. The Cowboys sideline right there thought it hit the ground. Calvin Bundage delivered a hit on the quarterback.
Well, Rodarius Williams thinks it was offensive pass interference. He thought Stokes pushed off to come back to the football.
And do we have a clue by the missing hat from the field judge?
Prior to the
Jim
pass,
Biddle.
holding defense number 0. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Apparently it was a catch by
There's the
Keelan
penalty.
Stokes.
Yeah, they called a hold. Oh, Stokes is out of bounds, so he was out. That's interesting because there was a similar play on the other side of the ball with Tylan Wallace where there was out of bounds and holding.
That's why the hat was off.
Yeah.
And is this a catch? Looks like it.
He obviously came back in bounds, established himself, and was able to catch the football.
And they're going to run a reverse, and it's promising. Some room on the near side, but Stokes couldn't turn the corner. That was well played by Tanner McAllister. That might have gone a long way.
Yeah, really well played. Really well played. They got the movement that they wanted. They got the primary movement of the defense, but McAllister read it quickly. And again, we've seen him make good open field tackles in space today.
Jim Knowles, the defense coordinator, said we expect a breakout year from McAllister. He has great feet. Moved him to nickel this year from cornerback, and he's lived up to that praise and that prediction from Jim Knowles. Now in his 3rd year as the defensive coordinator. He expects a big step forward now that most people in the program know his schemes. Smith hoping for the receiver to come back to the ball, but Juan Carlos Santana could not. Again, Tanner McAllister had the coverage. This possession set up by the interception by Allie Green. They think he's one of the best corners in the country. Senior who's played a lot. This is his 35th career game, his 18th start, but his first career interception. What a great time to get it.
Well,
Can they convert on 3rd down?
Yeah. That's been the question of the day for him, for sure.
Can you win a game by not converting a 3rd down and by being penalized 9 times with more than a quarter to go? They're trying to do it. They blitz him, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for Cannon Montgomery, the son of head coach Philip Montgomery. And if that had been completed, he had nobody behind him.
That's right. That was 0 coverage, which means there's no deep safety. They were pressuring. They were coming after Zach Smith. He read it. He got the ball out of his hands quickly. Montgomery, who is also the holder, so you know he has pretty reliable hands, not able to come down with that one. But you're right. He might have taken that one to the end zone.
One of those 5 players who just came out of quarantine, Cannon Montgomery. He's a roommate of Zach Smith and Zaven Collins. Bryson Powers and Seth Boomer, the backup quarterback, the others. They come after Lachlan Wilson. And the fair catch made by Dylan Stoner at the 14-yard line. Let's take a look at today's weekend wake-up, brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast.
It's a mouthful there.
It is some alliteration as well. The Big Ten, of course, they announced in mid-August they were postponing all fall sports. That was just 6 days after they had released a football schedule. Justin Fields started a petition to play. Parents from several schools protested at Big Ten headquarters. Some Nebraska players sued, and then after a meeting with some new medical information, they announced this week they are in fact going to start playing. New quarterback now. Here's quarterback number 3. Bullock off to the sideline. It's Shane Illingworth. True freshman from Norco, California, going deep and up for grabs. Some bumping, and Wallace wins that battle with Allie Green. So that's starting to become a regular one-on-one matchup.
When you get single coverage, he's too good to not give him chances. Yes, Allie Green had the interception, got the better of it the last time. But you got to keep giving number 2 chances because he's your most dynamic playmaker along with Chuba Hubbard, not only on this team, not only in this league, but in the country. You got to give him chances to make plays for you.
That one good for 29. They go out of the pistol. Illingworth gave it to Chuba Hubbard. He's to midfield with a pickup of 7.
He loves contact. He's not going to shy away. His strength and his physicality makes him have great ability to catch the ball in traffic and make contested catches. We saw the replay earlier of breaking tackles, but that strength also comes into play in making contested catches.
Hubbard bottled up all day, slides forward and has the first down with a yard to spare.
That's what Wallace does best. I mean, yeah, he's tough after the catch. We talked about under 200 pounds, but he loves the physicality of this game, and that's why he's so successful.
Oklahoma State down 7-3 late in the third quarter with their third quarterback, the true freshman Illingworth, in the game. He checks it down to Jelani Woods. And they're on the move here with this highly touted prospect who arrived early, but then again, they usually come early to participate in spring practice. Obviously with COVID, spring practice disjointed at best. He's throwing it for single coverage. Wallace was out of bounds, came back in, makes the catch, and is down at the 3-yard line. And what a beautiful throw by Shane Illingworth, 6'5", 220. Freshman out of Norco High School in Norco, California.
See, they're forcing him out of bounds. He's not running out of bounds on his own. Therefore, he can come back in and reestablish and be able to catch the football.
Well, the officials are talking about that. Adam Savoy, the referee, has stopped the play for the moment.
See, he's forced out of bounds. He's pushed out of bounds by Allie Green, who then stumbles, so he can come back in and establish himself and catch the football.
There's no foul on the play because the receiver was forced out of bounds. It's first and goal.
Well, how about this? We talked to Casey Dunn about Shane Illingworth, who he wasn't expecting to play today unless it was a blowout, likely in their favor. He said he has a big arm, similar to some of the terrific throwers we've had here in the past. Fans clearly well aware of
That's the end of the third quarter.
His background, as they cheered when he ran onto the field. Fourth drive, as you say, they got Tylan Wallace involved. He had catches of 29 and 36 on that drive. Did most of the hard work. The extra point good. But here's a look at today's hardest working player, brought to you by Duluth Training Company.
Well, Tylan Wallace had no catches in the first half. They were physical with him. They challenged him. Maybe got him a little frustrated. But here lately, they said, we're going to give you chances, big guy. You got to get us back in this game. They started giving him opportunities. He shows his strength, his toughness, and his competitiveness. And all of a sudden, it's a new football game and new energy, new life in this Oklahoma State football team because Tylan Wallace has come awake.
Yeah, when Illingworth got the nod that he was going in, he went up and had a conversation with Wallace, and they talked for about 2 minutes. It was the most engaged I've seen Wallace on the sidelines this game.
It was as if the team and this crowd believed in him. The minute he ran onto the field. Mentioned a highly touted prospect. 3 years of varsity football in California, threw for over 6,400 yards. Last year as a senior high school, 40 touchdown passes for Illingworth, 2 interceptions. And grew up in California, but had been to Oklahoma many times, has relatives in several communities in the state of Oklahoma. Christian Loving makes a fair catch off the Jake McClure kickoff. Here's Matt Berry.
Sean, got a couple of updates for you. We're going to start with Pitt, Syracuse. Kenny Pickett to Jared Wayne. Good look. Pittsburgh retakes the lead, or keeps the lead, 21-10. What about Louisiana, ranked for the first time since 1943? They're on the comeback trail against Georgia State. Levi Lewis to Kyron Lacey. Right now, 21-14 in the third.
All right, Matt, thank you. Here just into the fourth quarter, Oklahoma State, which led 3-0 early for their first drive of the game, has trailed through much of this. They're on top by 3 again, and nowhere to go for Deneric Prince. Trey Sterling, the safety, made the tackle.
I really like these safeties. I mean, Colby Harvell-Peel was a fairly highly decorated player last year. Hurt his knee in the Bedlam game, and they were concerned about how he would come back in this game. But all 3 of their safeties, Sterling, McAllister, and Harvell-Peel, are outstanding players, and really what has stood out is their tackling in this first ball game.
Dylan Couch, their starting right guard, senior out of Pryor, Oklahoma. who is injured, making just his 10th career start and backup through most of his career, but they're counting on him along that offensive line. Time for the Aflac trivia question. We want to know, who are the 3 Tulsa alumni in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And it's a school with a very proud football history.
I would have known 2 of them, but the third one I did not know. I mean,
Steve Largent.
Yeah,
sure.
Largent, of course. Howard Twilley, another wide receiver, right?
I don't think he's in the Pro
he's
Football
not.
Hall of Fame.
Oh, he's in the college.
I think he's in the College Football Hall of Fame.
That's right. College Football Hall of Fame.
Bob St. Clair.
Oh, yeah, big Bob St. Clair.
And Jim Finks.
Yeah, Jim Finks.
Of course, longtime general manager of the Chicago Bears, one of the great executives in football for many, many years, and one of the nicest men I've ever met. He and my dad were dear friends, and Jim Finks was a Hall of Fame person as well. But they're hoping Drew Pearson, a longtime Dallas Cowboy, will get in through the senior committee this year. He played at Tulsa in the early 70s. They're helping couch off. And we'll remind you that tonight, an excellent matchup from the ACC in prime time on ABC, 7:30 Eastern Time. Miami at Louisville. Miami number 17, Louisville number 18. And then NBA playoffs, 8:30 on ESPN. Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Miami up 2-0 on the Celtics. No lead big enough, unfortunately, for we green teamers in the first 2 games of that series for Boston. Zach Smith over the middle into traffic and a catch. Nicely done by Josh Johnson, who scored their touchdown.
We saw one offensive lineman go out, replaced by a backup. But look at this protection. Nice job also by TK Wilkerson, the back, stepping up to block the blitz. Zach Smith on target with the throw.
And Tulsa finds some offense with a veteran quarterback. Short throw there. Flag thrown. Trying to get it to Keelan Stokes, their best, and Rodarius Williams will be flagged.
See, I thought Rodarius Williams was in great position, but I think the contact was too early.
Pass interference. Defense, number 8. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
I mean, he read the play perfectly, but the contact is early, and that's what drew the flag. I mean, if he'd have just held off a second, he would have tackled him for a loss of yardage on the play.
Good call. Crowd doesn't like it. About 14,500 here. That's all they are allowed due to the COVID protocols, socially distanced. They have 2,700 students here today.
I think the key for Tulsa might be to just be really good on 1st and 2nd down and just avoid 3rd down altogether.
That would be ideal for them. Nowhere to go for TK Wilkerson. Devin Harper on the corner. They thought they came away with the ball. The play had been blown dead. Colby Harvell Peel running away with the football.
Rolling on the field as the runner's forward progress was stopped prior to losing possession. 2nd down.
I don't know how they could even ever go back and review these. If you can't hear the whistle, you can't know when it was blown dead. But I think that's the right call.
Is there a whistle?
Yeah, it's been hard to hear all day.
I haven't heard a whistle all day.
Great timing.
And a beautiful throw by Smith. Lobbed it in there for Josh Johnson. And he's to the Oklahoma State 38. It's almost as if this offense said, well, okay, we can't rope a dope all day. Now that we're behind, we have to do something.
Right.
And that was a bit more aggressive than what we've seen. They line up quickly. Wilkerson again trying to bounce outside. And he's shoved out of bounds. There is a flag down, 2 flags down behind the play, behind where the quarterback handed the ball off.
They're going to get a holding on Chris Paul, the right tackle, number 71.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
He got beat to the inside on this play, and he just instinctively grabbed when he knew he was beat. That play was bouncing outside, and yet another penalty. So 0 for 10 on 3rd down, and now their 10th penalty in the ball game. And any momentum that you have after a couple nice plays, it just knocks you backwards.
On 1st and 20, a screen.
Well set up.
Deneric Prince, nice footwork. Did not stay in bounds for that extra 4 or 5, but a good gainer. Get that penalty yardage back. Here's Matt Berry.
Sean, Raging Cajuns have come all the way back. Once down 21-7. Elijah Mitchell off the right side, 59-yard touchdown run. We are all tied at 21 late in the 3rd.
I think Billy Napier, the coach at Louisiana, one of the rising stars in college football.
No question. Here's Prince again. Just arrived not long ago from Texas A&M. How unlikely was he to play today? Right. It would be a factor. He had 2 career carries at Texas A&M. Played in 1 game there in 2018. They're without Shamari Brooks, the 5th all-time leading rusher at Tulsa. Out for the year with a torn ACL, suffered earlier this week in practice. Corey Taylor just out of the quarantine. Their number 2 has played sparingly. High snap, big hole, and a big face mask. And Prince fights his way through it all the way to the 8-yard line. Devin Harper ripped him around, and they'll tack more onto the end of that play.
Really nice blocking on the left side. Tyler Smith, the left tackle, with a big block. The tight end, James Palmer, with a block. Huge hole.
Face mask.
And there's the personal foul penalty.
16. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down. Timeout for injury.
It's Christian Holm, who is supposed to be their number 2 back, but coming out of quarantine. Limited action today.
Showed a little power there. I mean, that's what he's known for. More of the power back when he used to run in tandem with Shamari Brooks.
He's a touchdown scorer. Taylor scored 6 times last year. You saw Deneric Prince. He got him down here. He's rushed for 30 yards on this drive. TK Wilkerson, the running back now. They fake it to him. Swing pass. Stokes broke free for a moment, but couldn't get away completely from Rodarius Williams, who stopped him at the 3. Short yardage continues to be a nightmare for Tulsa.
Well, there was a little different wrinkle on that same action. That was the motion man. They faked to the back, but another great open field tackle for an Oklahoma State defender, this time Rodarius Williams. And yet again, 3rd down, 3rd and goal. Critical play here for Tulsa.
It'd be ideal time to convert their first 3rd down today. 0 for 10. All this late substituting puts Tulsa up against the play clock again.
Yeah, they're going to have to call timeout.
Oklahoma State has men running on and off the field, but the play clock is at 0.
Philip Montgomery had to call timeout. And, you know, again, it was just late getting
Tulsa,
what they wanted done.
Second.
And because they substituted, Oklahoma State was going to substitute late because they're allowed. But all that time, the play clock goes down. That's a little smart strategy on the part of Oklahoma State. When they see the offense substitute a little bit later, knowing the play clock's going to force a timeout call.
We mentioned Philip Montgomery in his 6th year. Last 3 have been rough after a 10-win season. 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins last year, 4 and 8. It's an interesting situation, though, at Tulsa. Their athletic director, Derek Craig, just left this week to go for a senior vice president's job at the NCAA. They brought back Rick Dixon, who had been the athletic director at Tulsa a couple of decades ago as an interim athletic director. They have an interim university president. So you wonder, who would make the call on that at the end of the year if they don't have a full-time AD. I'm with you. I think he's a good coach, although this clock management, substitution management, play calling on 3rd down, it certainly leaves room for him to be questioned and criticized today. This is a key play call for him. Zach Smith, good fake, has some options, all kinds of people open.
Wow, 2 guys wide open.
You take your pick. It's Deneric Prince.
There's a flag down, though. This looks like it's going to be an illegal motion penalty, and the play never even
Prior to the
counted.
Snap. False start.
Yep.
Offense on the left side.
Wow.
Third down.
Just self-destructive penalties. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. I mean, it happened to him last year in this game, and it's happening again. You have 3rd and goal inside the 5. You have the perfect play called, an easy touchdown, and now you back it up 3rd and 8. 3rd and goal from the 8.
11 penalties for 86 yards. That one a killer, especially if they don't score a touchdown on 3rd and goal here from the 8. Smith under pressure. Stepped away from it. Can't find anybody. And throws to the back line of the end zone. Broken up by Tanner McAllister.
Well, it's good pressure, first of all, by Oklahoma State. Watch the pressure, and Zach Smith does a nice job not getting sacked. Keeping the play alive, trying to buy time, extend the play. The pressure from Rodriguez forced the throw, and then McAllister with the deflection. And you got to come away with points here. You've got to come away with a tie here, and avoiding the sack was huge for them.
Lots of pressure on this true freshman right out of high school in Little Elm, Texas. Tyler Tipton. And he hooked it. Wide left. From 26 yards.
You got a 4-year starter snapper. You've got a veteran holder in Cannon Montgomery and a first-time kicker. Snap was good, hold was good, kick was not good.
Oh, and a nightmare. And flashbacks to last year when they missed a 29-yarder with 2 seconds to go that would have defeated Memphis. They lost 42-41. They have done everything you can do to get beat on a day when you've done so many things well. The clock management issues, substitution problems, lack of conversions on 3rd down, and most of all the penalties. 11 of them after 17 a year ago.
I think if you're Oklahoma State, you can't afford to get complacent and conservative here. I mean, you've got the lead, you've got some momentum from the missed field goal. You got a young quarterback that's feeling pretty good about himself. Stay aggressive. You know, you can't have a 3 and out here and give the ball right back to Tulsa.
You also wonder if Chuba Hubbard might be due to pop one against a defense that has to be tired.
We've seen signs of that, particularly in that defensive secondary, of some fatigue.
It has to be so disheartening to this defense that played so valiantly by what they've watched from the offense. They're ready for Hubbard. They drop him back at the 20-yard line. It's Grant Sawyer again, who's made a couple of big tackles for a loss.
Tulsa has done a really nice job of pressing the line of scrimmage. When the ball's been handed to Chuba Hubbard, they know we can't let him get going. We can't let him get going north and south on us and get that acceleration. They've done a great job of pressing the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 10. And it is Hubbard again. And he has the first down, and he almost broke it. Got taken down at the 40. The ball's out, but he was already ruled down. So on 3rd down and 10, he gets 20.
Couple missed tackles, a couple nice cuts in the hole by Chuba Hubbard. And a big 3rd down conversion on 3rd and long.
8.5 to go. Hubbard again. Drives forward for 7. It took Cullen Wick and Anthony Goodlow to get him down. Hubbard's up to 23 rushes for 80 yards, 3.5 per carry. He averaged 8 per carry against Tulsa last year when he ran for 256. They stick with him, and he got rocked a yard shy of the first down by Robert Revels. And here's another big 3rd down play.
Right now they're trying to work the clock the best they can. They're trying to pound on a Tulsa defense that has played valiantly but is starting to show some signs of fatigue. There's no question. Using as much clock as they can, and Hubbard out of the game right now, so it looks like L.D. Brown, if they want to run on this 3rd and short, it'll be his.
We're selling out on the run, this defense, and he runs right by that. touchdown, Oklahoma State. 51 yards, but a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense.
Wow.
10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Rye Schneider, fifth-year senior center with only 6 career starts prior to today.
Yeah, this is unfortunate because this is well executed, but you can see that the hands get on the jersey. He spins them around the defender. I think that was Hayden Grant, number 98, who got spun around right in the middle of the action to negate that touchdown. And that would have probably gone a long way to sealing the deal here, a touchdown there.
Crowd watched the replay, didn't like that penalty call. Wonder about Schneider's conditioning. He battled COVID-19 and it really took a toll on him in the preseason. Walked on at Oklahoma State. Here's Brown again. Doesn't go to the end zone, but he picks up that first down. And that's critical as he takes them back to the Tulsa 48.
Yeah, this is obviously what Mike Gundy, what Casey Dunn, what their feeling is. This defense has played so good against us, but they're starting to get worn down, and our offensive line is starting to kind of impose their will a little bit. Let's just keep pounding on them.
Play fake. Shane Illingworth for Wallace. All kinds of contact and flags flying from every direction.
See, this is what happened last year. When they played last year 3 times in the first half.
Interference. Defense number 26. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
3 times in the first half, they tried to throw the ball down the field to Tylan Wallace, and he drew defensive pass interference penalties every time. Then he got a 90-yard touchdown in the third quarter. If they're going to play like that, you got to throw the ball up and give him a chance. He's either going to come down with the football or draw a penalty the majority of the time.
Well, the penalty brings the ball to the 34. Bear in mind, they also have an unsettled field goal situation if it comes down to a kick here for a 6-point lead. Whatever that was about, it has been resolved.
Tulsa has tried to be so physical with Tylan Wallace, but when you still give him a shot, I mean, he can make some things happen.
Shane Illingworth been terrific off the bench as their third quarterback. Quick hitter there to Dylan Stoner, and we send a quick hitter to Matt Berry.
Yeah, guys, great finish in your game. Want to update you quickly on a quick start for Notre Dame. Chris Tyree punches it in from 1 yard out. Notre Dame up early on USF, 14-0.
Back they go to Chuba Hubbard. He has a streak of 100-yard games, 11 in a row. It's on the line right now. He's getting close to 100 here with this late push. Picked up a first down with that carry. He ran for 12 100-yard games last year.
We haven't called Zaven Collins' name for a while. He's a guy who needs to step up and make a couple plays at this point for Tulsa's defense.
Cowboys content to milk the clock now, down to 6 minutes to go. Leading by 3 against this valiant Tulsa team. They bring pressure off the corner. And Hubbard taken down by Robert Revels.
Robert Revels timed that pressure really well. I mean, he came on the outside, timed it perfectly, and was able to chase the play down from the back. I just mentioned Zaven Collins. I don't even see him on the field right now. The key leader, the key player of this Tulsa defense.
The leading returning tackler. He's second team All-American Conference last year. Out of the pistol. Illingworth, lots of time. Some tired men in white chasing after him, and he throws it away. Pursued to the near sideline by the safety, Darren Ray.
Well, they call this a little play-action cross-country route, and really watch Wallace. He has him. He can throw him the football right there. He just didn't feel comfortable. There was a linebacker underneath, but that's a lot of space for number 2. Get him the football there. He might even score with it.
They're 2 for 2 on 3rd down on this drive. They need 6 here. And again, they milk the clock. Although the game clock is not running. Just trying to get lined up properly. L.D. Brown in trouble behind the line of scrimmage and dumped.
Is that your guy again?
Brent Sawyer. 7 tackles all of last year. 18 career tackles in 24 games prior to today. And there's another big tackle for a loss.
Take a look at him. And just getting to the outside and crossing the line of scrimmage. Reading the play, getting into the backfield, and making a sure tackle. He's had an outstanding football game.
So they do force a field goal try. It'll be a 40-yarder from Alex Hale. Walk-on from Australia. This gritty Tulsa bunch 13-7 with just under 4.5 to go. Zach Smith, can he lead him back?
He's got to find a way to get a couple chunk plays. They just have not, you know, his numbers are okay from a completion percentage, 17 of 25, but only 167 yards. So they just have not been able to get any big plays. This Oklahoma State defense has played excellent in terms of their coverage, particularly on Keelan Stokes, their go-to receiver.
McClure's kickoff. Fair catch by Christian Lovick. Let's take a look at the college football rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. SEC play begins next Saturday. Alabama #2 behind Clemson. We'll see them on ESPN next Saturday night at Missouri. Oklahoma State began today #11. I believe they're going to put the Big Ten teams back in the rankings. They were in the preseason ranking. It then came out once play began. Now they're going to play. I believe they're going to go back in. So that'll move people around quite a bit.
Yep.
They'll go in eventually. We don't know if it's next week or when, but they're going to play. They'll be ranked. Big hole. Deneric Prince gets 8 on the first play. And you have to think, Todd, they need a touchdown on this drive. They have 1 timeout left.
Yeah.
And it's go for it on 4th down. Playing without Shamari Brooks. The senior tore his ACL in practice earlier this week. 5th all-time leading rusher at Tulsa with 2,700 career rushing yards.
Another movement penalty. I think they got Keelan Stokes for leaving early on this one. Again, 2nd and short. You're ahead of the chains. Now you're behind the chains.
5-yard penalty.
Actually, it was inside. I thought Stokes moved early too, but it was inside. But again, those are the penalties that just continue to add up. 13 penalties on Tulsa.
Average 79 penalty yards per game, worst in the country. And worse than that today on 13 penalties. Prince cannot turn the corner. There's another flag down. Thrown at the feet of Chris Paul, the right tackle.
I think the same thing happened to Chris Paul. He got caught on the inside. He got his shoulders turned and he reached out and grabbed and pulled. I mean, those are easy calls to make. And Tulsa, in a lot of ways, their own worst enemy today.
Oh, boy. That's an understatement. Paul, nice player and a terrific student leader, great citizen of the community. He's the American Conference's chair of their Student Athlete Advisory Committee. He's also a candidate for the Werfel Trophy for his community service work. And they're trying to decide if they're going to accept the penalty or not here.
Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Yeah, I think you got to take it. I mean, it's already 2nd down. It's not 1st down. And now you back them up deeper. And again, Zach Smith in the situation, 2nd and long. You got to think about just getting part of this yardage back. If you can get half of it, that would be ideal.
Yeah, you've played the position at a really high level. Like at this point, you just got to take it over, right?
Got to manage. You got to manage the situation right now and give yourself a chance on 3rd or 4th down.
5 wide. They set up a screen, and they were not fooled on that Oklahoma State defense. Juan Carlos Santana taken down by Christian Holmes.
Read so quickly. Just really read quickly. I think you're in the same situation, because I agree with you, Sean. If you punt the football here, you're not going to get it back.
Right.
So you've got to try to think 2 downs here, get half the yardage on this 3rd down play, and then go for it in a manageable way on 4th down. But this is the ball game right here. You got 2 plays to convert 19 yards.
3 receivers wide to the left. Single receiver wide right with single coverage.
Clock's out again. They're not even going to get the play on. This is
and
this
again,
is
they
hard
can't
to
hear the
watch.
whistles.
It's getting hard to watch.
And you know, they had to have spent so much of the offseason talking about getting rid of penalties. You need to come out in the open and do this.
Prior to the snap, delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And I mean, those are not effort penalties. You know, effort penalties are one thing that you kind of live with, you know, hustle penalties, but just lack of concentration, mental error penalties, they just have just compounded the problem today for Tulsa in a huge way. I mean, you were 3rd and 19, now you're 3rd and 24, and you got to go for it on 4th down. This is tough sledding right here.
And they're taking all kinds of time with the clock running here to get the play off. Zach Smith hoping for something, and it's incomplete. Desperation heave. Colby Harvell-Peel broke it up. Juan Carlos Santana nearest, and now it's ultimate desperation time. 4th and 24, they have to go for it.
Yeah. And see, that's why you have to try to just get a completion on the 3rd down play, so that you don't have 4th and 24.
From their own 11-yard line, Tulsa with some excruciating losses last year on their way to 4-8. They felt it could have been much different. Again, the play clock is running here.
I think you might even have to call timeout. Just make sure you got the play you want. Otherwise,
or did they get it off? No, they didn't. Or did they get the timeout first?
Prior to the snap, timeout, Oklahoma State.
Boy.
2nd. Timeout on the field.
The clock management.
Please put 2:06 on the game clock.
Substitutions have caused part of the problem. Dreadful today for Tulsa.
well, they only had 1 full scrimmage.
Look out! Smith sacked! Not a safety. They're going to mark it on the 2, but it was Malcolm Rodriguez. The out. Really continuation of the end of last season. And Illingworth certainly brought some juice. I mean, we heard it from the crowd when he ran on the field. They knew who he was. They've heard and read about him. And it looked like he brought a little life to the offense, almost as if they believed in him when he stepped out on the field.
I thought it was interesting, the report that Chris gave, that right before he came on the field, he had that exchange with Tylan Wallace, who was shut out in the first half, and obviously went right to him right away, and that changed the game offensively for Oklahoma State.
So many of these top quarterback prospects are so well coached in high school and in camps that when they get here, a lot of them are ready to go on opening day, and it's a good thing for Oklahoma State that Illingworth was. Lovick, the fair catch. With Tulsa's defense so much better, the offense, you wonder if it might have been different with Shamari Brooks, particularly on all those short yardage situations. But when you go 0 for 12 on 3rd down, you commit 15 penalties for 121 yards. It's almost hard to imagine that you were down by 1 score until the final 20 seconds of the game.
Yeah, and this is a team I think that could be a really good football team. They've got to clean some things up, no question. And they go on the road to Arkansas State next week, and that will not be an easy game either.
Again, we need to cut them some slack too, because about as much as any other team in the country, their preseason interrupted by COVID-19. Colby Harvell-Peel with the interception. That should be the fitting conclusion here. Jim Knowles said, I think the defense is ready to lead the way for the offense. That hasn't happened very often at Oklahoma State. At least they can be equal partners.
Absolutely.
And today they did carry the day, as they did a few times late last season for Oklahoma State.
Well, the key to doing what they want to do, winning the Big 12 championship, obviously their first conference game next week against West Virginia. But they've got to knock off their neighbor. I mean, they're 0-5 the last 5 years against Oklahoma in the Bedlam game. They're 4-1 against Texas the last 5 years. And both Oklahoma and Texas ranked ahead of Oklahoma State right now in the polls, but they got to find a way to beat the Sooners.
Chuba Hubbard will come up with 94 yards, and his streak of consecutive 100-yard games will end at 11. That was the longest active streak in the nation. It was a struggle throughout. Mike Gundy lost his starting quarterback early. He never really looked in sync, with the exception of one drive engineered by Illingworth, and too many costly mistakes for Philip Montgomery's Golden Hurricane. For Chris Budden, Todd McShay, Todd Blackledge, I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Stillwater. The final score 16-7, Oklahoma State.